Good day everyone. I am Elvera Portillo, a biology student of Surigao del Sur State University, Tandag City. So for today's video, we'll talk about plant and animal systematics, especially taxonomy. So first, we need to address the difference between systematics, classification, and taxonomy. Because these three are not entirely the same, some of us might have a preconceived notion that these three are exactly the same, which is totally the opposite. So the difference between systematics, taxonomy, and classification is systematics is the study of nature and the origin of natural population of living organisms, both present and the past, and the relationship among living things through time. And classification is the process or action of classifying something according to shared qualities or characteristics. And lastly is the taxonomy. Taxonomy is the science of naming, describing, and classifying organisms that includes all plants and animals and also microorganisms of the world. So now, let's proceed to the taxonomic hierarchy. Taxonomic hierarchy is a classification system used to categorize organisms. It was Aristotle who introduced the hierarchical concept in the classification of living things, and this was reinforced by Carolus Linnaeus in the 18th century when he established the science of taxonomy in classifying the organism. The Linnaean system is important because it led to the use of binomial nomenclature to identify each species. Once the system was adopted, scientists could communicate without the use of misleading common names. Taxonomic hierarchy is just a really fancy word for putting things where they belong. So for example, you go in a grocery store. No matter if you've been in this grocery store or not, you can kind of find out the things are because cereals in cereals and vegetable is in vegetable section and so on. So it's the same way with taxonomic classification. As scientists like to put things in order so that we can talk about with one another and we can understand the relationship that these organisms have. So the hierarchy in classifying organisms is domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and the last is the species. So in classifying, we're going to start at the most inclusive or the biggest group, which is the domain. So we're going to whittle our way down to the smallest or the species. We will take human as our example and classify it all the way from domain to species. So the domain of human is Eukarya or Eukaryote. Its kingdom is Animalia or Animal Kingdom. It belongs to phylum Chordata or Chordate. These organisms have backbone, and its class is Mammalia. These organisms have fur and can produce milk. Its order is Primates. It belongs to family Hominidae, and its genus is Homo, and the last one is the species, which is the Sapiens. In this classification, binomial nomenclature is used, and each organism is given two names. The first is the genus, and the latter is the species. This is otherwise known as scientific names. So for example, the scientific name of human is Homo sapiens because its genus is Homo and the species is Sapiens. That's why humans is Homo sapiens. In writing a scientific name, first is the genus name, which is capitalized, and followed by the species name, which is written in lowercase letters. In print, for genus and species, name is italicized. For us to easily remember the different levels of classification, we have a mnemonic, and it goes like this. The King Philip came over for good soup. It is the best way to remember the order of taxa in biology.